How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the opposition preview. Of course, we are back. Arsenal's back. Premier League football's back after the international break. And we've got a big game, Arsenal versus Fulham, of course, at the Emirates Stadium. Looking forward to it Tuesday night under the lights. We're joined by a very, very special guest. We've got Elizabeth over there from Fulham-ish. Before we do start, you guys can obviously find our link is literally on the title. You click the blue out. It's so easy to do, people. Make sure you go over there and show them some support. But Elizabeth, thank you so much for coming on today. And how you been keeping?
Yeah, I've been doing good, thank you. Thank you for having me. We're coming off quite a disappointing result yesterday in the FA
Yeah.
Cup. But really up for this one. I'm at the Emirates on Tuesday night as well, so really
Oh,
looking forward
amazing.
to it.
Amazing. Of course. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the. I know you don't really want to start there. What happened the other night in the FA Cup, that cup upset. But I wanted to ask you if you can obviously, your overall thoughts on the season, so far. Because for me, looking as an outsider, you guys are only a few points off European football, and I know it's a mad race between, I think, Villa, who are a few points behind you, and then you got, fifth place. And as you know, fifth place is up for grabs, maybe a Champions League spot as well. But I mean, looking at overall this season, I know the FA Cup was a bit disappointing from your guys' perspective, but overall thoughts of the season, you find yourselves in a very good position. Would you say that you've overachieved this season?
In some senses, I think since we came up to the Premier League in 2022, we've overachieved generally, but fans have started to get used to this level of performance. When we came up, obviously, most teams that come up from the Championship go straight back down. But actually, we came up with Bournemouth and Forest, and all three flying in the Premier League. So, class of 2022 in the Championship is doing well. So, coming into the season, we just lost João Palhinha, who was our best player, and hadn't made all the waves in the transfer market, honestly, that I think Fulham fans were hoping. There was a question mark still over the striker position after we lost Mitrovic, not last summer, but the summer before. So feeling a little bit uncertain, but this season has been at least my favourite of the last three. We've had this FA Cup run, which obviously ended really disappointingly, but some really, really good moments throughout that. Knocking Manchester United out on penalties is a highlight that I will remember for a long time. But we've also had a lot of really, really big results. We beat Chelsea away, which for us is huge. We haven't done that in decades, and they're local to us. We beat Brentford, overturning a deficit in added time, which is also incredible. Obviously, the Manchester United moment. So these big scalps that we've been able to make have defined our season in many ways, and so I'm hopeful that maybe there'll be another one on Tuesday night.
Oh no, most definitely. I think that's a great point there with obviously Joao Paulinho moving on to obviously Bayern Munich as well. Because when you had him last season, especially, I remember he came to the Emirates and he absolutely bossed it against us. I think even both games I can remember when you beat us 2-1 at Craven Cottage as well. He's an
Mm.
unbelievable player, So that was always going to be a massive miss. And as you rightly said, with the striker situation, I used to love watching Mitrovic as well, player you guys. It's a shame they went to Saudi Arabia, as we know. But like obviously the window, the guys in the thumb now. Arsenal fans have the history with Smith Rowe, Haylands. We was gutted to see this guy go. Looking into your summer business, like, do you think you guys, like what would you have sort of rated that sort of summer business, and do you think that's played an effect for how good you're doing this season as well?
Yeah, it's been an interesting one because in some ways I felt like we went into the season not that shored up, but we did make a lot of smart moves in the transfer market. For me, our signing of the summer was Sander Berge from Burnley, who took a while to get embedded into the team. But since the autumn, late autumn into early winter, he's just been unstoppable for us and has filled that Polinia-shaped hole perfectly, him and the pivot of Sasha Lukic as well. Emil Smith Rowe is a difficult one, and obviously I'm aware I'm on an Arsenal channel, so I don't want to speak too ill of him, but he's been an incredibly frustrating watch, to be honest, over the past few weeks and months, and I think he's really lacking confidence. And for a club record signing, which he is, it
Mm,
feels like we're not getting enough for him. And like Saturday was a great example of that. It was our biggest game of the season in the cup, and he came on and he just felt really anonymous. And that has kind of been the story of the last few months, especially. Um, and then we had a few other additions. Joachim Andersen from Crystal Palace, probably overpaid for him a little bit, but
Yeah.
he's been decent, if not show-stopping for us, and picked up Ryan Sessegnon on a free. He left Spurs, and he's just come back into the side, really, scored a couple of amazing goals, and obviously a very emotional moment for Fulham fans because he's one of our own. He came up through our academy. He's a Fulham fan.
Yeah.
So to have him back at the club, that for me was the most special signing of the summer.
Mm, it's a shame how, obviously, you're just being realistic and speaking, I'm sure, for majority of Fulham fans on Smith Rowe. It's a shame when, obviously, like, for our perspective, seeing this guy sort of downfall in the recent years because this kid was something special with Arsenal.
Yeah.
But I just think, you know what it is? I think you rightly said with the confidence. I think that's a big factor there. But I think injuries as well really let this guy down. I think he had some real problems at Arsenal in staying fit. But then he came back, I think, when England played under 21s and he was the best player of the tournament. And we're thinking, yeah, this guy's back. And then when he went to you guys, I was thinking, you know what, this is a really good move for him because he's able to express himself, because I feel like at Arsenal, he didn't get that, especially towards the end, he didn't get that, amount of opportunity that he really deserved. And that was a big frustrating thing when we let him go. But it's a real shame that he's not doing sort of what you guys required for him to do, especially being your club record signing as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not over for us as Smith Rowe at all. Like, he's our club record signing, and I believe that he can come good. I don't think that this is all that he's going to offer. But just speaking candidly, at the moment, in comparison to our other summer signings, I've been disappointed by his output. But I would love nothing more than for him to be show-stopping for us.
Yeah, nah, most definitely. So I just want to ask you on obviously on your manager, obviously Marco Silva, because I'm a massive fan of him,
Mhm.
and obviously what he's done with you guys and how, I remember the season where you got relegated with all those, was it 2019? You guys got relegated with all those like, I mean, I looked at the squad, I was like, how
Mm.
how are you guys going down? But in since obviously that you guys have been a well-established side, I think, in the recent years, and that's for me down to your manager. I'm a massive fan of him, and in fact, he's got a decent record in the recent years. I think we've not beat you in 3 games now, and I put that down to him getting the best out of Arteta. But what's the whole Fulham sort of fan base thinking about your manager? I mean, you guys must love him, right? As a whole,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like, um, best manager of my lifetime, I think, but if not running incredibly close to Roy Hodgson, who got us to a European final.
yeah,
And it is unbelievable the level of stability he's managed to put into this club. We were yo-yoing famously between the Championship and the Premier League under Slavisa Jokanovic, Claudio Ranieri, Scott Parker, a villain in the Fulham camp for sure. And then
yeah,
he came in and we stormed the Championship. And obviously, being a club with parachute payments, you're expected to do well, but we scored over 100 goals. We beat teams 7-0 3 times that season. We were unstoppable. And then coming up, and we established ourselves as a mid-table Premier League side immediately.
yeah,
And that kind of stability is unheard of. Even Bournemouth and Forest, who came up with us and stayed up, they were really struggling in their first season up. And we've seen the last couple of seasons that the teams that have come up have gone straight back down. And I am honestly, at the moment, terrified that Marco Silva is going to leave for Tottenham. That
yeah.
is, and I don't think it will happen for lots of reasons about Spurs' hiring and stuff. But that would be such a blow for our club.
Yeah, most definitely. And that's, I mean, you could look at it both ways. I mean, it's a good thing in terms of like people actually want this manager because I know not just Tottenham, but if he ever came available with you guys, a lot of clubs want this guy. That's how good I think he is. But on the flip side, for your point of view, you don't want to lose this guy anytime soon because he's that, as you rightly said, he's got you back up, a well-established Premier League side. And obviously this season doing wonders. And it'd be great for you guys to play European football, some sort of European football. I mean, you never know because it's so tight. You could push for Champions League, and obviously I know it was a while, wasn't it? When you had was the last time is when you made the final, wasn't it? Europa League
Yeah, that was in 2010. So it's
2010.
been. It's been, wow, 15 years now. God, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, but I can imagine you guys getting like a Europa League or I mean Conference League. I mean, because
Yeah.
Conference League, I think for a team like you can go and win the whole. You can go really far in that. I think that type of
We were
competition.
Any Fulham fan would love to be in the Conference League.
Mm,
I think seeing what West Ham did a few years ago
yeah,
has been really inspiring, and just to be able to do those European away days, be in a European competition, it would mean so much to Fulham fans. And there's a lot of conversation in the fan base about whether we're like ready yet, but I don't really see that. I think you just go for it if you get it. And we're really in and around that conversation. We're in the middle of a bunch of very good, very inconsistent teams. So I'm just hopeful that when it shakes out in May, we are eighth or above.
yeah, most definitely for sure. I mean, I wanted to obviously look into your current squad, obviously this season. Because I've seen the likes of Jimenez. I think he's got double digits now goals. He seems to be finding his form a little bit more since he had that, of course, mad injury
Mhm.
with the head. I think when he was at Wolves. Obviously, you got a few ex-Arsenal players. I mean, we spoke about Smith Rowe, but you got a Wobie in there doing his thing. Of course, Willian. No, is Willian still at you guys?
Yeah, so he left.
And came back,
He
didn't he?
keeps coming back. Yeah, we've re-signed him like 3 times, uh, which is interesting. But he is currently playing for us. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So you got him. You got obviously a goalkeeper I really rated as well when he was at Arsenal, Leno
Yeah.
as well in goal.
Mhm.
So yeah, you got a few ex Arsenal in there. But for you, if you had to, pick so far, sort of like players that stood out for you this season from Fulham, who would you put in that list?
So Anthony Robinson is the obvious shout. I think he's the best player in our team, our
Yeah,
left back. Um, really fast, really good defensively, but can also get forward. Sort of player that is always linked with a move away. And it seems that Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth is going to Liverpool, but Robinson's been linked with Liverpool for every transfer window as long as I can remember.
yeah,
So I would say he's our most important player. But throughout the pitch, we've got really good talent. Bassi at the back in our centre back is really titanic and can put in a great performance. He has got a mistake in him, but
yeah.
generally a really consistent performer. And then Sasha Lukic in the middle of the pitch, I think will be fan player of the season this year. And I hope he is, because him and Berger together have filled the João Palhinha shaped hole, but Lukic especially is so tenacious. Um, and then moving forward up the pitch, Iwobi has played so many minutes for us this season, and I do feel
Yeah.
for him because he often looks exhausted. But there are no players that I would rather have the ball on the edge of the area looking for a shot. I think he's fabulous, and he's so creative as well. He's our top assister this season, and I think might be on track for over 10 assists, if not there already. And then Leno, obviously, I have to shout out. He's just made the goalkeeper issue at Fulham not an issue anymore, and that
Mm,
is amazing. He's probably the best Fulham goalkeeper that I can remember, and we've had some really great people in nets. But definitely since I started going to games, uh, he's so confident at the back. He has made a couple of mistakes, but
yeah.
generally he's not doing anything silly, and he's able to stand up and be counted when it matters.
Yeah, most definitely. I remember him at Arsenal, as I said. I mean, I agree. He had a few mistakes in him because of the way how he wanted to play out, like distribution wise at times as well. But over the years, I think he's really improved on that. Playing out from the
Mhm.
back. I think he's an excellent shot stopper as well. Like he's brilliant at that. I just think overall as a goalkeeper, he's very underrated for sure. And
For sure.
you guys have got a fantastic goalkeeper. They're very underrated there for you guys. But obviously looking into this game, you come back to the Emirates. As I said earlier, 3 games now we've not beaten you. You had the one this season, the reverse fixture, that 1-1 game. You had the 2-1 last season at Craven Cottage, and then you had the 2-2 where you scored in the last minute equalizer. Um, how are you feeling? Because in terms of confidence wise coming in against Arsenal, for us, we sort of know the league's effectively done in our point of view.
Yeah.
We're more focused on the Champions League against Real Madrid. We got the great news that Saka's back, though, so he may get some minutes
Oh,
against you
okay.
guys. Yeah, some really
Goodness.
positive news. Yeah, some positive news for Arsenal, but for you guys, you must be, fearing the worst
Uh,
there. But Yeah, I mean, overall for Arsenal, I mean, we suffered so much with injuries. Like, obviously, I'm sure you've been seeing Mika
Yeah.
Marino playing up front with Arsenal. It's just not,
Mm.
it's not been that great. Does that, looking into our squad, I know Saka's back, but with the injuries we got coming to the Emirates, you got an all right record in the recent years. As I said, 3 games without a win, like we beat you guys. What's your confidence levels feeling for obviously Tuesday's game?
I think it's hard to talk about Tuesday's game without the context of what happened yesterday. So there is a thing of the players will be tired. They played a full game
Yeah,
yesterday. Obviously, Arsenal players won't have done that. And confidence could be really low amongst the squad. But equally, this game is so much lower pressure. We're not expected to get anything from it. And as a fan, I'm definitely feeling that. Like, I'm just really excited for the day out and to go and see
yeah.
what happens. I'm not concerned. I'm not stressed. I'm not worried. What will be, and nothing terrible will happen. I do think Arsenal have been quite gettable this season for a lot of teams. A lot of times when I've watched them, obviously there have been those show-stopping results like that 5-1 against Manchester City, where
Yeah,
you guys were just unplayable that day.
hundred
But
percent.
I also watched the 1-1 against Manchester United and games like that where I just think there are definitely weaknesses in this team, both in terms of personnel. Obviously, you mentioned the injuries, but also tactically. And I don't think that I'm not scared to come to the Emirates, to be honest.
That's not yeah, well, you know what? Fair enough there, and when people because this is a thing when you play Arsenal at the Emirates this season, people have found a way to beat us or not lose to
Mm,
Arsenal. There's definitely a way to beat Arsenal or get something, at least a point. And it's when, majority of the teams in Premier League, they play this, sort of low block against Arsenal and we really struggle to break it down. Arteta has still not found a way. He's still not had a
mm,
plan B to break it down. It's all well and good when you play. I mean, the perfect example is when we played PSV away at Champions League. It's
yeah.
completely different European, and they went for the game against Arsenal, being the home side, being fired up for it, and we just carved them. We opened them apart completely and done them 7-1. But when I go to the Premier League side of things against these, certain teams who come to the Emirates, a lot of teams have been getting joy of just playing a low block. All right, we just sit deep, let Arsenal have the ball, but then we don't have that striker, we don't have that attack, that final third, that clinic. We need players who are clinical. We've not got that this season. That's really shown. Could you see Fulham doing a similar thing, coming and playing this low block against Arsenal?
It's not massively our style, to be honest, to really sit back.
Yeah,
We try and take the game to teams. Having said that, though, we have got a really good record against the best teams in the league this season. We have obviously drew with you guys back in near Christmas, and we also drew with Liverpool in December at Anfield. They were down to 10 men, but like rightly so. Um, we have done the double over Nottingham Forest. We were very close to beating Manchester City, to be honest. And it was a crazy game where they had 3 long range goals and Adama Traore missed 3 golden chances.
yeah.
So I think we're quite well suited to match up to these bigger teams, to be honest. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do the same on Tuesday night.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Just quickly, what's the lineup looking like for you guys?
So it's a difficult one because we have been known to play a 5 at the back this season with
Yeah,
mixed success. We played a 5 at the back when we beat Chelsea, and that was amazing. And we played a 5 back at Wolves away, which we won. But we also played a 5 at the back against Ipswich at home and looked absolutely dreadful. And Brighton as well, away from home, we played a 5 at the back. I think Marco will stick with the 4. So it'll be Bassi and Anderson, although there have been calls to drop Anderson for Issa Diop, which I wouldn't be opposed to. And then Castagna and Anthony Robinson in front of Leno. And then in the middle, it'll be Sanderberger and Sasha Lukic, our battling duo. And then a 10 of, I think it will be Emil Smith Rowe, considering Pereira had a poor game on Saturday. And the narrative of Smith Rowe returning to the Emirates, I
yeah.
think he will play. And then in front, it's really anyone's guess when it comes to the strikers. I would start Raul Jimenez, but Marco Silva might start Rodrigo Muniz. And then on the wings, it will be, I assume, Willian and Owobi.
Just quickly, I wanted to ask you on the two strikers, right? Have you got a preference, and do you think they're both suitable to go forward with Fulham, like in the future? Or do you think you need to improve in that area?
I think we do need to improve that area, but not drastically. Between them, they have a really solid output. Like they have what you want from a Premier League striker, a goal every couple of games, every 2 games.
Yeah.
And between them, they manage that. And when they swap out, they do so quite seamlessly. I do dislike very much when we start with Muniz and then bring Raul Jimenez on. I much prefer starting with Jimenez and then bringing Muniz off the bench because Muniz offers a bit more chaos. Raul is a very controlled striker, and he has electric moments, but ultimately you know what you're going to get with him for good and for bad. Whereas Muniz is a chaos merchant, again, for good and for bad. He will try and bicycle kick something that he should be kicking normally. But he has created those moments for us that have, like, some of the best moments this season have been created by Rodrigo Muniz. So I don't necessarily have a preference between the two, and I don't think this option is the right option long term. But I also don't want Fulham to be in the transfer market in the summer paying over the odds for someone that might not work.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with how things are at the moment. I'm hoping that Jimenez starts on Tuesday.
Yeah, fair enough. So let's get into obviously the big score prediction. You said that you're not scared coming to the Emirates. What's your score prediction saying?
It's difficult. I mean, I never like to predict that Fulham will lose, and I think on paper, I'm not scared coming to the Emirates, but all logic dictates that we will lose this one, especially with how tired we'd be after the game at the weekend.
Yeah.
But having said that, I'm gonna be positive and I'm gonna back a draw. I'll say 2 all.
2-2, fair enough. I've gone. I tell you, this is gonna be another one of these tough games. Like it has been in the past against you guys. I think I went 2-1. We just
Mhm.
scrape it. While those games, you'll make it frustrating for Arsenal. You'll definitely have a go at times as well. And yeah, I think we just about sneak a 2-1 win. So yeah, gonna be interesting to see what happens. But Elizabeth, thank you so much for taking your time to come on today. Just before we go, if you want to quickly shout out where people can obviously find you as well on social
Yeah,
media.
I'm at ES_Barnard_ on Twitter and Instagram. But I am from the Fulhamish podcast, which is at Fulhamish Pod everywhere. So you can find us in YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere.
Yeah, 100%, guys. And as I said at the start, go to the title. I also try and leave the links in the description as well. Stay tuned for that. But may the best team win, Elizabeth, and of course, good luck for the rest of the season. Really hope you guys get at least Champions League. Imagine that, man. 5th place, that'd be
Imagine.
incredible. But some sort of European football, that'd be really good.
Yeah, thank you. I really hope that. And thank you for having me.
All right, of course. And yeah, guys, make sure you leave your score predictions down below, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, come on, you Gunners. Take care, everyone, and we're out of it.